Someone wrote in and said that he'd like to go to a swingers club. He want to experience it, but he's a single male and he wants to know how to get sponsored so he can go. Do you have any suggestions?
Well, when you say sponsored, it makes it sound like it's a 12-step program. So I'm just saying, I don't know if swinging is like that.
Or approved.
Approved. He wants to... So, okay, here's the quick Swinger 101 if you don't know. Swinging is a type of non-monogamy where people have consensual sex with multiple people, or can, because you can be a swinger and not have sex with anybody. You just identify as a swinger.
Right.
So it can get more complicated. But basically, let's say that you're a swinger. That means you like having sex with other people who may or may not be in relationships. And usually, because swinging is kind of heteronormative in that it's male-female couples, where the women are usually bisexual, and the men are usually not bisexual. That's how it used to be. And it still is in some situations. And it's a little bit more flexy these days because people are in modern relationships. But for the most part, it's couples-based consensual non-monogamy, where people go to events or to places like a swinger event or a swingers club, to meet other like-minded people for possibly playing or just socializing. You get to make friends, and maybe you hang out with them another time, and maybe that's sexual, or maybe there's sexuality stuff that happens at the event. All that stuff is just basically to give you a rundown on swinging.
And this is Reid Mahalka from readaboutsex.com, and I'm Cathy Vartuli from theintimacydojo.com.
And we were still these people at the beginning of the video. We just forgot to tell you. So the problem or the challenge is if you are a single man, most swinger events do not allow for single men because they're trying to keep some sort of gender balance. Hypocritically speaking, though, single women, come on in. The more, the merrier. So if you're a single man who's a swinger, or if you've been a swinger and in a relationship and then you break up and now you're single, it can be really challenging to find clubs or events that will allow you to come.
Well, I looked it up after I got the question. I don't go to swingers clubs personally, and I was really surprised that some nights single women can get in free or $20 for one
or
place
whatever the amount is,
and the single man might be $100, and a couple might be $50. So I was really surprised at the difference of prices.
Yeah, and so if you're in the swing community, this has been going on for eons, but some people get upset about the weirdness around money and classism, and then equality, all this stuff. That's not what this video is about. The strategy for if you're a single man, what I would do is I would email or contact the club or the event, contact the organizers, and ask them how you can help, if you can volunteer for the event. How can you be of service and of value so that people who organize these events get to know you and get to know you as a rad, like an awesome person? And then you're not just the single guy anymore. You're Bob, who always helps us with cleanup.
Yeah.
And that way you might be able to get an invitation and be of service and of value. It also helps people not deal with you as a stranger, like you're the person no one knows. So they get to know you socially.
If they offer classes, attending the classes.
Yeah.
So that people get to see that you're paying attention to the rules.
Because swinging is ultimately about community. It just happens to be a community where sex is allowed. So how can you become a community member? And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, well, Bob doesn't have a date, but we love Bob. Bob, do you remember that time that Bob helped us out in that jam with the blah, blah, blah? So that's my best strategy, is contact the organizers and just let them know, hey, I know that I'm single and that's usually not allowed at events, but can I help with the event? Can I be a volunteer and get in or not get into the party? Because I want to get to know you guys so I'm not a stranger. Very different than, dear organizers, I don't have a date. Can I come?
Yeah.
So that's my best advice around how to be a single guy in the swing community. Other advice is really,
Well, I run some local events that are non-sexual, but people are really, we do cuddle parties and other things where people are touch positive and open to talking about things. So, and I know some people that they've gone as a couple to an event just because they wanted to see what it was about. So you might, if you have some friends that are curious about it, some female friends, you could invite them to come along, say, I'll pay your $20 ticket or whatever, or however you want to do it, just so we can check it out together. And it's kind of nice not to go by yourself the first time.
And you can create like a field trip kind of environment. Maybe get a bunch, go as a group.
Yeah.
Again, if it's just a single guy and you don't have friends to invite, make yourself available and useful to the organizers and to the community itself, and then all of a sudden you're not a stranger. And really the no single guy thing has a lot to do with mitigating clunky men in the community sexually, and also the stranger effect. Mm-hmm. A lot easier to invite somebody that you know well and know is an awesome person than trying to make an exception for somebody that you don't know and you don't know how they're going to behave in this space.
Yeah.
Hope this was useful for you guys. Leave comments below. What are your strategies, theories, advice? Bye.